Good evening, students. Today we start the fifth lesson of that science subject is the plant reproduction. In the last lesson, we studied about the pollination. Okay, so in this lesson, we will discuss about how plant reproduce the plant. Okay, so in this lesson, we studied sexual reproduction, dispersal of seeds, vegetative reproductions. Okay, so now we will discuss about it. In last lesson we discussed about the parts of the flowers. Okay, parts of the flowers, and also we discuss the pollination. So see here on page number 51, the diagram of the flowers is given. So can you identify that which are the female and male reproductive parts? See, this is the stamen. Okay, this is the stamen and it is the male reproductive parts. ये कौन सा है? ये male reproductive parts है. Okay, and it's the carpels. It's the female reproductive part. It's a female reproductive parts. So these male and female reproductive parts are important for the pollination, and it's also helpful for the reproduction of the new plants. So now turn the page. See, in the last lesson we studied about the pollination. So what do you mean by pollination? The transfer of pollen grain from stigma anther to stigma. Okay, in pollination the pollen grain reaches the stigma of the flowers, means that pollen grain is transferred from anther to stigma of the flower and pollination is happened. So can you tell what happened after the pollination has occurred? Pollination के बाद next step कौन सी होगी? So after pollination the next step is the fertilization. Okay, the next step कौन सी होती है उसमें? Fertilization. अभी fertilization means what? So in fertilization what happened, that male gametes and female gametes are fuse with each others. Okay, that fuses with each others. So in fertilization the male gamete in the pollen grain fuses with the female gamete inside the ovary. Okay, so this type of reproduction that involve male and female gamete is called sexual reproduction. ऐसा रिप्रोडक्शन जिसमें मेल एंड फीमेल गैमेट्स इन्वॉल्व होते हैं उसे क्या कहते हैं? सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. Okay, do you understood what happened in the fertilization process? Fusion of male and female gamete. Male and female gamete means what? Anther and pollen grains and stigma. Okay, stigma is the female gametes. So in that female gametes the ovary is important for that. Okay, that fuses with the ovary. So now see here, reproduction in plants can be categorized into two types. रिप्रोडक्शंस जो है वो दो टाइप्स में उसको डिवाइड किया जाए, जैसे सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन भी होता है एंड असेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन होता है. ओके, सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन मीन्स व्हाट? द रिप्रोडक्शन दैट इन्वॉल्व फ्यूजन ऑफ मेल एंड फीमेल गैमेट, जिसमें मेल और फीमेल गैमेट्स की फ्यूजन होती है उसमें क्या कहते हैं? सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. एंड वेजिटेटिव रिप्रोडक्शंस मीन्स जिसमें मेल एंड फीमेल गैमेट्स इज नॉट इन्वॉल्व for the reproductions. So now first of all we studied about the sexual reproduction. See, the formation of new plant through the fusion of male and female gamete is called sexual reproduction. Formation of new plant through the fusion of male and female gamete means the new plant, new young plant is formed or produced by the fusion of male and female gamete is called the sexual reproduction. देखो यहाँ पे लाइफ साइकिल्स दी ही प्लांट्स की, जैसे कि सी द न्यू फ्रॉम द सीड the new young plant is grow. Okay, when that mature, the fruits are grow on that plants. Again from fruits, the seeds we obtain. Okay, so now again seeds is useful for the germination of new plant. So in sexual reproduction, new plant grow from the seeds. Okay, and seeds are found within fruits. Okay, so seeds are found within the fruits and fruits are formed from the flowers. So sexual reproduction involves three major steps, which are pollination, fertilizations, and fruit or seed formation. Okay, these three steps are involved in sexual reproduction. Which steps? Pollination, fertilizations, and fruit and seed formation. So now we will discuss about the fertilization. The fertilization is the step between the pollination and seed formation. So now we studied about the fertilization process. Fertilization means what? The fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete is called fertilization. The fusion of male gamete with the female gamete. See, fertilization leads to formation of seed, which later germinate into new plant. Fertilization क्यों होता है? Because it's helpful to form the seed. Okay, it leads to formation of seed and later on that germinate into new plants. So what happened actually in the process of fertilization? See here, see this diagram. See, it is the pollen grain. Okay, the pollen grain is transferred from anther. Okay, this pollen grain is transferred from anther to the that stigma, and here that pollen grain is from the pollen grain when germinate, it form the tube-like structures. It reaches toward the that ovary. See, first point here. Pollen grain germinate on the stigma and pollen tube develop. Here when that pollen grain stick on the stigma, it germinate here. Okay, and the tube-like structure is called pollen tube. These pollen tubes grow downward into the style and the pollen tubes are carrier of the male gamete. ये जो ट्यूब का फंक्शन है वो क्या करता है जो पोलन मेल गैमेट से वो कैरी करता है, कैरी करके यहाँ तक ओवरी तक आता है. सो पोलन ट्यूब कैरी द मेल गैमेट एंटर द ओवूल. Here it enter into the ovule where egg cell is spreaded. वहाँ पे egg cell रहते हैं. Okay. So finally what happened? The male gamete fuses with the female gamete. Okay, and these complete the process of fertilization. जब वहाँ पे वो फ्यूज होते हैं मेल एंड फीमेल गैमेट, वहाँ पे प्रोसेस कंप्लीट होती है फर्टिलाइजेशन. सो थ्री स्टेप्स इज इंक्लूड हियर. देखो कौन कौन से? पोलन ग्रेन जर्मिनेट ऑन द स्टिग्मा. ओके, एंड पोलन ट्यूब डेवलप. Okay, so that pollen tube carry the male gametes. See here, that two dark spot is, you can see here that the two dark spot is the two male nuclei. So through this pollen tube that male gamete is carried toward that ovule. Okay, so where egg cell is present and that male gamete when enter in that, it fuses with it and complete the fertilization. Okay, so this is the process of fertilization. Do you understood it? What do you mean of fertilization? Fusion of male gamete with the female gamete is a simple definition of fertilization. Okay. See the now next step, what? Formation of seed. Do you know what happened to the flower after fertilization? What happened? Following are the some changes in the flower after fertilization. देखो प्लांट पे पहले फ्लावर्स आते हैं, फिर बाद में वो फ्लावर्स से फ्रूट्स तैयार होते हैं. ओके, सो आफ्टर दैट व्हाट चेंजेस आर एक्चुअली इन अ फ्लावर्स? सी द फ्लावर लूजेस इज ब्राइट कलर. ओके, उसका जो फ्लावर्स उस कलर्स रहता है वो ब्राइट नहीं रहता, ओके, ब्राइट हो जाता है। देन द सेपल्स, पेटल्स एंड स्टैमेंस फॉल ऑफ। उसके सेपल्स, पेटल्स से हमने पार्ट स्टडी किए, वो सब क्या होते हैं, इट्स अ फॉल ऑफ, वो गिर जाते हैं। नेक्स्ट स्टेप, द ओवरी इंक्रीज इन साइज एंड बिकम अ फ्रूट। जो ओवरी रहती है वो कैसी रहती है, उसकी साइज इंक्रीज होने लगती है एंड फाइनली इट कन्वर्ट इनटू फ्रूट्स। देखो आपके घर पे अगर कोई भी फ्रूट्स का प्लांट हो, लेमन का या तो गावा का, तो आप उस पर देख सकते। सो द ओवरी वॉल बिकम द फ्रूट्स वॉल, ओके, द ओवरी वॉल बिकम द फ्रूट वॉल्स। जो ओवरी वॉल्स होती है वो फ्रूट्स वॉल में कन्वर्ट होती है एंड इनसाइड द ओवरी द ओवल डेवलप इनटू सीड्स। जो ओवल्स रहते हैं उसका कन्वर्शन किस में होता है, फाइनली सीड्स में। ओके, so here today we discuss about the fertilization process. Okay, sexual reproduction and their fertilization process. In the next period we start the dispersal of seed.